Hello and welcome to Aisha's Take. Once again, we're having a premiere, so please feel free to drop your comments. Let's talk together. I'll answer questions as you're watching. If you have any question that you want to put out there, please put it out there. By the grace of God, I'll be there. I'll be answering the questions. So today, for today's topic, I'm looking at what is a strategy for the North. When you're thinking about election for the North, what is that strategy that can be used? First of all, I will go back to say that where we are right now, a lot of people have found themselves in that place before now. And when they found themselves in that place, other people didn't find themselves in that place. I'm one who is very aware of the fact that the North is not homogeneous, just the way that the South itself is not homogeneous. So when I say North and South, I mean the northern part of Nigeria and also the southern part of Nigeria. So of course there are differences, but then to an extent there are certain parts within the northern part of Nigeria that it's a bit homogeneous, just like there are certain parts within the southern part of Nigeria that is also homogeneous. And so we'll take it on from there. Today, I see a lot of people who feel that where we are right now, where people are rallying around candidates and all of that, this is the first time we are getting there. This is not actually the first time that we're getting there. In 2014, that was what happened. In 2014, the government then had failed so much, and there was so much insecurity, unprecedented. That was the first time that we've had, the insecurity was there, I think, by 2008. The insecurity had been growing, and then by 2014 it got to a place where, oh my goodness, we never knew we could get here. People were afraid in their houses. Terrorists were writing letters to schools. You would be in Abuja, you'll be in a queue literally, and you'll be afraid. You don't know whether a bomb is going to go off. There's an experience I have in 2014 where at Barnes Plaza. So opposite Barnes Plaza, for those who know Abuja, there's a mosque there. So I had gone shopping at Barnes Plaza and had finished my shopping, and it was time for prayer. So I crossed over. So I left my car. I decided to walk over. I crossed over to enter the mosque. And so, as of that time, they used to search people before you go into the mosques and all of that. So this person who was, I think he was the person who was in charge of that, his attention was away. He was doing something, and he looked up. Sometimes you're doing something, then you look up and you just see somebody just suddenly almost like where you are. And to this day, I could see the fear in his face when he saw me. I'm sure his heart just, the way your heart sometimes will just beat. His heart beat, he dropped everything. You could see literally. And so I stood. I hadn't finished getting to him, when he told. So I stood. I knew exactly what happened, because that was the time of suicide bombing, and you see women in hijab, they were doing all of those, blowing themselves up, and I'm sure that was the fear he had. So I stood, and I looked at him, and I said, "Do you want to search me?" I just calmed down. I just wanted him to be calm, because I could see his eyes. And he looked at me for a moment. He just said no. And for me, that really broke me, being that this is a Muslim man seeing a Muslim woman in hijab and being afraid. So it was one of those moments where we're like, wow. And so I went into the mosque, I did my prayers, and I came out. So that's the reason why I say to a lot of people, then there are a lot of people who were oblivious to what was happening, because they lived in a certain part of the country where these things were not happening. I remember December 2014, I had visited home. We went home for the Christmas, and then my husband's last born, they are actually twins, they were getting married, so we were there to celebrate the marriage and everything. And my uncle was there, and I was like talking to him about Chibok girls, and he was like, "Oh, those people is the northerners that are killing themselves and all of that." And I looked at him. I was really so angry with him, and I'm the kind of person that I will verbally put it out to him. And I looked straight at my uncle, and I said to him, by the time they start bringing your nieces and your nephews back to you in body bag, you know that this is not just northerners killing themselves. And I think for a moment he stopped, and he looked at me. And I could see him thinking, because we are his nieces and his nephews. I mean, we live, a good number of my siblings live in the northern part of the country, even though my parents are back home now, they live home. So I'm like, yeah, by the time they start killing us and bringing them to you, you will know that this is not just about, northern people, killing themselves or stuff like that. So there were a lot of people who had this kind of mentality and attitude to what the whole insecurity that was happening in the northern part of the country. And so those people had their moments. Right now, things have worsened. The insecurity is no longer where it was like at one. It was like the fringes. Not is now, it is everywhere. Everybody is now feeling the insecurity, the poverty, the whole everything has worsened. So that's why I always try to remind people that, look, where you are right now, other people were there in 2014. And what did they do? They rallied around a candidate. Give it or take it. People rallied around Muhammadu Buhari, and he has disappointed them so much. The votes that he has always had from the northern bloc, which is like maybe 11 to 12 million votes, they gave it to him. I remember when he was going to declare to run for office in Abuja, a lot of people came. They came on their own, they paid for themselves. Some didn't even have money to hire hotels. They were sleeping on the streets of Abuja, Unity Fountain, Eagle Square, and all of them. Many of them were there. This is how passionate they were about Muhammadu Buhari, or for Muhammadu Buhari to get into office and become a disastrous disaster. That's how bad. If there's any region that has suffered the most from the incompetence, cluelessness, and ineptitude and everything of Muhammadu Buhari, I would say is the northern part of the country that really have suffered it. The northwest, the insecurity they didn't have before, there's a lot of it. Katsina is one of the, if I might say, one of the most insecure states in Nigeria. It's just that most news are not coming out. Those ones, anything that happens, they will cry and they will say, oh, that's the will of God. You know, this thing that Muslims have, and especially in the northern part of the country, where everything, oh, the will of God, and just take it as part of this thing. No, sometimes some things are the incompetence of human beings. It's not the will of God. It's the incompetence. Yes. And one thing that I used to argue, and I might digress a little bit, when we talk about this, that as Muslims we believe that whatever it is that qadara, right? That whatever it is that God has said will happen no matter what you do. And people just sit down and take that for this. I always argue, even as a child, I say, look, no, people look at it wrongly. I say, look, God is all knowing. God knows what it is that we're going to do. So when they say everything of our life has been written, that it's not that God is saying that he's the one that's making us to do it. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been sin now. So if I sin now, I would say it's God that had written that I would do it. But the thing that is that because God is all knowing, he already knows what it is that we're going to do. So he just wrote it down. So it's not as if he's not the one making us to do it. He knows the decision and everything that we'll make. So that's the difference. So a lot of people mistake this, even their own mistake. They'll just say, oh, it's God that made this to happen. Oh, it's no, you made your choices and you made those things to happen. And so there's a lot of insecurity. So where some people are right now, where they feel, oh, the price of rice has gone up, the price of dollar has gone. The price of dollar has started going up by 2050, and that's why APC even used it to campaign. The terms of life, yes, it's not as expensive as it is now, but it was more expensive than it was before. And if we don't come together and just focus on the strategy for all of us to understand, by 2024, 2025, maybe a bag of rice will be 100,000 naira. Who knows? If we vote in the wrong people, definitely that's where we'll get to. They will not be telling you that dollar is 2,000 naira, or maybe they will not even be accepting Nigerian naira at all. So these are things that we have to be mindful of. We have to understand that where you are right now, some people were there and they had done all of this. And I will tell you, a lot of youth were out there for Buhari, especially from the northern part of the country, just like you have also from the southern part of the country. A lot of people are there for Peter Obi, and then there are some pockets all around. There were also some people from the southern part, also from the southern part of the country, but the majority as of that moment, 2014, and what we have right now. So there was even this thing I think they called themselves Youth for Change. They used to do rallies around. In 2014, 2015, many people might not know that they did rallies around. They did a lot of things. They donated money. There was this recharge card they used to sell at that time, and then you scratch it. I don't know how they did it, because I remember there was a friend of mine. You know, sometimes when I see people talk about, oh, you supported Buhari, I'm just looking at them and laughing. Buhari was one person I never liked. Even people, there was a friend of mine, we almost fought because she gave me this card and like I should scratch it. And I was like, for what? I'm not going to do that. I wasn't interested in Buhari. For me, Osibanjo was actually the person I supported. That's why I was so disappointed with the way he went on. And I see a lot of people who keep talking that, oh, they said that Buhari will take care of corruption, Osibajo will take care Buhari will take care of security, Osibajo will take care of economy. Yeah, that was what a lot of people thought, because Buhari was one person who delegates, and many people, and myself inclusive, felt that he's going to delegate to Osibajo, and Osibajo will actually do the needful and do a lot because of what his antecedent from what he had done in Lagos State. So these are the things that people believed in, and they went on that he's not corrupt, he's going to fight corruption. He had done it before with the Militazine and the military, this thing, corruption will not be on under him, and a lot of things. So people believed in that, and they rallied around him, they put money together, they defended their votes. There were people who actually gave up their lives. I will never forget the young man that was killed in Bauchi because where they were defending the votes. After voting, they refused to go. They stayed there. At the end of the day, he was killed. They buried him. They still continued. I mean, people invested so much, all for him to come out and be such a disaster. So you will understand with the fact that the northern part of the country will be disillusioned. It's not like the southern part of the country right now that feels, yes, that is buoyed up to say, yes, finally, we're standing up. And sometimes when people are looking at it and say, how can somebody be supporting APC till this moment? It's the same thing. How could people support PDP in 2015 with all the failure that PDP had done? I know some of you will come and say that, but we knew this one will be worse. That's how they too, they are thinking that the other one will be worse. It's as simple as that. If we're not getting it, that was what 2019 would have expected, that people would have voted out Buhari, but because people were saying that, oh, another one might be worse, so they stayed on and still maintained the failure, and that's why some of them are still doing that right now. So coming back to the main topic, which is the strategy for the North. So the first thing that needs to be understood is the fact that the strategy from the South will be different from the strategy from the North. In the northern part of the country, people have been disillusioned. People have fought. People donated their money. Remember the old woman that gave 1 million naira, all her life savings, to Buhari? Although I believe she's late now. May her soul rest in peace. What did Buhari pay her people with? You understand? So there are many people who donated, who took out of their money. So we have to be mindful of that as we go into the campaigns, and we start the campaigns, and we go into the voting. We have to be mindful of the fact that these people have been here before and they have been disillusioned. So what it is that needs to be done. So it is not about, for me, and for every time I'll talk on this Aisha Stakes, it's always my opinion that I bring out here, that the way I see issues. I might be wrong, and I'm always very happy. Please, whatever it is, note it down. Oh, this is where you're wrong. I don't think I'm open to that. I love dissenting opinions, because for me, dissenting opinions are opportunities for me to look at issues from a different perspective. So I'm always ready to always look at those things and learn from them. And when we have discussions, we learn more. We get to have an understanding better. No one person has knowledge of anything, and sometimes you're looking at something from one angle, somebody else is looking at it from another angle, and when you all bring it all together, it's better for everyone. So for me, trying to say that, oh, can't you see that this government is so bad and all of that, but they did see that another government was bad in 2015. But what happened when they voted in the person that they thought was Messiah? Let me put that way, because there were a lot of people who thought, I remember talking about it, for like, hey, what has this guy done that you people believe that he's going to have all the want to solve all the problems? But then they believed in him, and the person failed them. So you understand where they are coming from. They've been disappointed, they've been disillusioned. So there might be voters' apathy, where people are saying, what's even the essence of coming out to vote? We voted for somebody we thought would be there for us, and he went in there and he was even worse for us. So what will happen most, I think, for me personally, would be for Peter Obi to go down there and actually sit down and have conversation. Let there be specificity to say, okay, what is it that you want? What is it that you want to see in government? Can I see the thing that you want to see in government? And then he also sits down with them and realistically say to them, these are the things that I can do. These are the things that I can't do. These are the things that we need to work together to be able to achieve. And in that way, let them start that conversation. But it's not to feel that, oh, why are you not seeing this? Oh, why are you not seeing that? Especially when I talk about, I'm talking about the North, not necessarily North, the North, west, the northeast, and all of that. So there must be a difference in the kind of strategy, and to also encourage people to say, look, don't give up on Nigeria yet. Come out and vote. Yes, you might have voted for somebody and the person did not meet your expectation. It's not your fault. And that's the reason why I was so angry when PDP supporters started that whole issue of getting people to apologize for their votes, calling people out and telling them, oh, you vote, first of all, you voted for him, you have to be the one to hold him accountable, then, oh, you have to come and apologize for it. It's wrong, because what it's doing that it's a huge, it's killing the whole electoral process, the confidence in it, and it's making people afraid to even support anybody, because you see a lot of people who are like, I don't even want to make it public, I don't want no to support us. You see people who are afraid to actually own their choice and their support. And I keep saying to people, you have a right to your support and nobody must take that away from you. So in terms of letting them look, it's not your fault. When somebody is voted into office, you give him your support. The moment the election is done, that is it. You are not responsible for whether the person wins or the person fails. The onus is on the person who was voted for, who was given the confidence and the mandate to get in there. That's who the fault is on. It's not on you. So holding citizens accountable for the way people behave in office, it's a no. Honestly, it's just an anomaly. And most times you find out that these people don't even have the guts to hold the people that have been voted into office accountable. Rather, they sit down and hold fellow citizens, especially all the ones they feel they can bully, and hold them accountable. One of the things, like you see somebody will come to me and be shouting, hey Aisha, this one, I can never trust your judgment. You voted for Buhari, Aisha, this. And guess what? The person is campaigning for either Tinubu or Atiku. And I'm thinking, okay, you can't trust my judgment because I voted for Buhari in 2015, but you are willing to reward Tinubu or Atiku, who not only voted for Buhari in 2015, they campaigned for him, they used their money to bring him into office, they did all sorts of things. You are going to reward them and trust their judgment on something that concerns your life, on the Nigerian issue. But moi, I voted him alone. I voted him. It's the one that you will not trust my judgment. And it sounds so ridiculous that sometimes you cannot just even put your head around it. And so those are the things that we have. So when people are talking like this, I'm wondering, so why do you now then want to reward, if you say you don't trust the judgment of people who voted for Buhari in 2015, or you don't trust them, you don't do all of that, then why do you want to reward Tinubu and Atiku, who actually brought in Buhari, who gave him money, we were there for, who campaigned for him? Why then do you want to reward them? Put us in the same place now. Me, I'm ready. Whatever, if you think it's punishment, you want to punish, then punish all of us now. Why is it that it's only Aisha you have mouth to bet those ones? Then meanwhile you are there busy following those ones and going after them, and so it's just, like I said, it's just so ridiculous. But back to the main issues, that we have to understand that there are different places where we are, in the northern part of the country and in the southern part of the country, are like where a lot of people are right now. Many people in the northern part of the country were actually here in 2015, and they believed and they gave their all and they fought for it and they did things, and they were disappointed. So right, if you go and meet them, they will tell you that what is the guarantee that Peter Obi will not disappoint them? What is the guarantee that he will actually work? What is the guarantee he will not go there and they will say that, what was that name? The cabal that have tied everything. So what is that guarantee? So these are the questions that need to be explained to them, that needs to be done, and for it to be made that, look, Peter Obi, yes, we are voting for him. We don't have any guarantee. We are not soothsayers. We are not Dibias, we are not Babalaos, we are not Bokas, we don't see the future. So what we know is that we believe we've seen his antecedent and the way he has comported himself, because indeed, even Buhari comported himself in terms of telling that he was a reformed Democrat. He was all the things about fighting insecurity. He was naming them before then. He got into office and you're like, what happened? So when they tell you all of this, they have a right. So it's to say, okay, this is what we see. And if Peter Obi gets into office, when Peter Obi gets into into office by the grace of God. Our own is to hold him accountable, and by the time we all put our hands together and hold him accountable. And that's why I don't like this situation where some people are always defending him, when no, allow him to be criticized, scrutinized, and everything. And so we all hold him accountable, and working together will all ensure that we have a country that works for us. So this is just what I wanted to mention today. And I'm looking at Aisha's take. We do us doing this maybe 2 p.m. every day, or maybe we'll select certain days. But let me know if it's something that you find interesting. I think I've done certain ones now in the premiere, and so we have a conversation all around it. But like with this one, I'm able to talk in depth more about certain topics rather than just like the videos that I just do, short videos that come out. There are still also short videos out there, but it's all about discussion. Please feel free to put down your thoughts, criticize, critique. I love criticism, because for me, criticism is how you grow. When people praise you, they already tell you what you've done well. They don't tell you what it is that you're going to improve upon. But when people criticize you, it tells you what the things that you need to be improved upon, that you need to improve upon. And for me, honestly, I don't care whether it's what's that thing, constructive or not constructive. Just bring it on. At the end of the day, I'll be the one who is learning, and I'm always learning to ready to learn from it. Thank you so much. And also, please let me know if I speak too fast. It's also one of the things I've been working on. I don't know whether I'm succeeding, so please let me know if I speak too fast. Sometimes I get to go and it's really not too good, because you want a situation where people will actually hear you, know where they are rushing to understand what you're saying. So I think I'll stop here. Thank you so much. Let me see your comments. If there are topics that you want me to talk about, please go down there, put them in the comment section. You can put them on my Twitter handle also with the hashtag AishaStake, so that I can track them, and then we'll say that I will always have a conversation. So thank you so much for listening. If you've got to this part, thank you so much for being part of Aisha's Take, and bye-bye.